game analysis stream for subscribers and friends. I'm your host, International Master Mr. Coffee. No, Mr. Coffee, welcome. I'm your host, anyway. We're known as Sladgie here on Twitch. Welcome everybody who's in the chat today. Asturbate, Mr. Coffee. Welcome guys and girls. Our first game, we've got a very serious 3-minute game submitted by subscriber Ripun Bansal. You guys know how much I respect the 3-minute chess. 3 plus 0. But anyway, we'll do it. I've done 3-minute games before from our prolific supporters like Mr. Slow. As I've said many times, this particular player who submitted this game plays too quickly. So I don't think 3-0 games should be what he should be focusing on. Alright, let's flip it around. Wow, I just did something crazy. Hold on. I did something crazy. Some kind of hotkey. It didn't affect you guys. Hey people, Prem. I need for my brain to start working. I just wanted to flip the board. Is that too much to ask for? Jeez, it's a hotkey. That's weird. Usually that's not a hotkey. Now it's working. Alright. So I've got games from Ripun Bansal, Princess Chess, Asturbate, Yabades, Sumher, and Goiju. It's very possible, if not likely, that I forgot someone. Mr. Slow doesn't have a game submitted, which is highly unusual. Prem 666. I feel like other people's are missing. Haven't seen Uber Driver in a long time. Guys, don't forget to support the stream. We've got 2 gift subs and a small donation from Pegasus and WJ Luth this week. It's Thursday. Support your local chess streamer. Don't forget, Asturbate, you're 3rd on the list. Alright, so we still got time to accept a few more. We're going to start with this game submitted by Ripun. So he's playing black, e4, e5, knight f3, and knight c6. Okay, welcome Scarlat. Actually, Scarlat got a hype train conductor. I did not realize that. I assumed, like, I know you donated bits last week, but I assumed like Mr. Slow got the hype train conductor. We have a hype train conductor in the house. Scarlat, IDG. Thanks for supporting the stream. But anyway, knight c6. You must have been in the chat donating when the hype train went through last time. d4. E takes d4. Scotch. There's not a lot of options here. Really not a lot of options. So takes. And then white played the deadly bishop c4. Yeah, that hurts. The stupid Scotch gambit. Man, I hate this. Anyway, knight f6 is the main move. You can also play bishop c5. I don't know too much about that. That was a major variation, though, as far as I know. I never played this. I remember a friend of mine playing it with white, I think. They had played a game with this. Remember white, like, getting the pawn back with d3 or something. That's an alternative. But knight f6 is main line, e5 is main line, d5 is main line, bishop e5 is main line, and then knight e4 is main line. But I recommend knight d7, the Bronstein move. This is not only a good move, it's less known by players who play white, so it's like a doubly advantageous move. It's good, and people don't know it as well, so why not play that? The idea is castle, bishop e7, bishop c6, pawn c6, knight takes d4, knight b8, and that's the original concept that Bronstein wrote about in 200 Open Games. September, exactly. September, so subscriptions to Twitch are 20% off. If you'd like to gift a sub, subscribe yourselves. Don't take it from me, take it from David Bronstein. This is a good system for black. And if you look, they're modern games. And the results are positive for black. Very positive. So I like this better. The knight e4, everyone knows it, and it's like impossible to get an advantage. Sorry, Reedpoint, I can't start over again. Knight e4, you didn't miss much. I just said that knight d7. I can't start my stream over again. Knight d7 is a good move. That's basically all you missed. Knight e4. Knight takes d4. Now there's a gambit with bishop c5. I don't know what the status of that is. It looks like statistically it's okay. But he plays the main move. And now bishop takes c6. B takes c6. Castles. I hate this. This is just really robotic. It's like the London system of the e4, e5. It would be good if people would watch the stream. You can watch the videos, either on Twitch or on YouTube. It's really not difficult. Alright, so castle, bishop c5, main line, here. And this is White's like strategic idea usually, to focus on like blockading these squares, the dark squares. That's the whole strategy, more or less. Try to create a blockade on the dark squares. Since since White doesn't have a white square bishop, he focuses on a dark square blockade. But it looks like knight b3 is not the most common move. You're not threatening anything. The biggest threat is actually, Black's center moving forward, and White's. It's a battle of pawn majorities in this kind of position. Just Falcon, you can still submit a game. I only have 6 out of 10 slots filled for a game analysis. So absolutely, if you want to send me a game, just make sure you include the link to the game in the message on lichess. Hopefully no crazy weird notation that's hard to convert over. The problem is that White is threatening stuff like f3 and f4 and expanding with those central pawns. And that wave of pawns is dangerous. But again, Black has the same kind of potential to advance his pawns, just that Black's pawns are doubled. White has the better pawn structure, technically. Anyway, this move I'd never seen played. But it doesn't mean that it's bad. Let's think about this for a minute. Is knight b3 definitely bad? I don't know. He's hitting the bishop. You have to keep that bishop here. You can't play c5. I guess the problem is he can't play f3. That's the normal plan, right? White would play f3 or bishop e3 with the plan of playing f3. That's his problem here. If he can't get your knight off of e4, he can't move his kingside majority. I would imagine this move, for example, would be reasonable. Just challenging the knight on e4. But the problem clearly seems to be now, how does he get rid of this? He'd have to trade it off directly with a knight. And you do have this move, queen h4 maybe. Triple attacking, like f2. That's exactly what happened in this game. That's funny. The one game where this happened, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this move, I guess. The one thing I don't like about this, I like the fact that he has isolated pawns, but I don't like the look of this, cutting down this diagonal, and getting like a good blockade of the dark squares. White's next move looks kind of weird. So let's check this out. You could play queen h4. Triple attacking f2. White has this. Or just take. Someone suggested bishop f5. Yeah, I mean, bishop f5 is a move as well. There is this back again. You know, hitting this and this. But it's not such a big deal. If black can, to hold up this diagonal, like get a really good blockade on that diagonal, it's basically, you know, the same thing. Like white is trying to blockade this diagonal to get control of d4 and c5 and fix control of that diagonal. And black's trying to do the same thing on this diagonal. If we can get very good sort of blockade on this white square diagonal, the one thing that really stands out is the fact that white doesn't have a white square bishop. You know, whereas white does have a dark square bishop, black does have a dark square bishop. But I don't know how big a deal this move is, like that was played. I mean, is it a big deal? Queen h4? That looks kind of random to me. I'm not impressed by queen h4. It's also possible just to castle and let white take here. But I don't know about this. I don't know. Let's see what the computer says. The engine, it likes taking on c3 the best. That's what you did. Again, my concern is bishop a3, castles. So what about this? Rook e8, hitting e5. And that's the problem. I mean, yeah. And this, like, this pawn is... So instead, white played bishop f4. But I mean, this is a really kind of... This is a really kind of bad... Interesting idea, Prem. If castles... Bishop a3, rook e8, to actually give up a pawn here, like bishop c5. I mean, black's better. Probably we should just take here and say bishop d4. But I mean, black's better. Black's now got control of the e-file, the rook's active. White has chances to draw. Maximum. Yeah, my plan wasn't so great. So it looks like knight b3 is really bad. But knight c3 is worse. And this is an improvement over the game. And this square. Not great. But I mean, now the question is, what should black do? You want to play c5, but you can't. And if you play like bishop f5, white has knight d4. So black wants to use the bishop pair. You know, ironically, this is a possibility. Yeah, I don't like bishop e6. Yeah, I thought maybe we actually do this. But maybe maybe black should be patient here, you know? Like first we play rook e8, something like that, or maybe queen e7. Well, I don't know about your main goal to play c4. You mean c5. Yeah. Your main goal should be to play c5. Absolutely. This looks like a good move. You know, the other thing you can do is play f6. I mean, f6 is one easy way to, like, destroy a center. I don't imagine you can be worse after that. I think only black can be better here after f6. Because you're opening up the f file against f2. And you're destroying his central pawn. There's zero chance you can be worse, and some significant chance you might be slightly better here. Yeah, but I mean, this position is a perfect opportunity to play f6. He doesn't have f4. You have pressure on f2. He has no white square bishop. That's why you can't be like following Ben Feingold's advice. When is f6 particularly good? When the opponent doesn't have a white square bishop, you know, is exactly when you should be looking to play f6. What does f6 weaken? It weakens these squares, but the dude doesn't have a white square bishop. This is the perfect moment for f6. And another idea is, like, you might be able to play queen e8, you know, come over here. But maybe you can prepare f6. You know, this, this. Play it when you want to play it. Black is better. This move, I don't know. I guess you're just preparing c5. That was your point. Okay. Yeah, he can't stop it now. Well, he could, right? This move. Maybe that's the best move. Seriously. No, I don't know. He never should have played bishop f4, though. I mean, seriously, look at this. This is ugly, but it's like Botvinnik in the French, man. This is actually tricky. I mean, he gets this, the F file. You could easily, like... I guess you can gang up on e5 too quick, though. I guess this is a problem. Yeah. You're too fast to gang up on e5. Let's see. Queen here, rook e8. Knight c5. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, actually. He could come back here. I don't really want to play f5 for black. Well, I want to play it for white. I could play f5 for white. Yeah. King h1, f4. King h1. Maybe that's what white should play. Under the circumstances. But I think that black is slightly better. Okay. Anyways, his plan is to play c5. How bad is this? It's not that bad. It would at least stop c5. Bang. Now black's better. And now you have this sort of blockading strategy. The bishop's really badly placed on g3 too. It does nothing from g3. So I would just play that. Maybe think about f6 coming up. Here, blockading. If f4, we have, you know, super blockade. This can be protected by queen c6. But I'm not sure if you should play c4 or not. I have my doubts about that. But I guess you're better, anyway. Yeah, I mean, this guy... The guy's got to take, clearly. I feel like he rushed a little bit here. Probably black is clearly better, but I think he still should take. And try to do his best to survive this. This looks really ridiculous. I mean, black has monster pawns here. He's like, what is he trying to argue? Like his knight is better than your bishop? Are you kidding me? This bishop is massive, you know, it's like securing the center. You can play, you know, he can't play knight g5. You can play like h6 or something. It's getting in the way of his f pawn. But there's no choice. He like has to play knight takes e6 here. But he doesn't. He plays that. And now black played d4. Okay. This is good too. You could probably play differently. More patiently like that or something. Yeah, I mean, you're just clearly better. Super pawns. Now there's that square. You know, again, I like this. Maybe you want to play h6 at some point. Someone said knight b5. Oh, crap. Maybe. Actually, it's another reason to play something like queen d7. This is a 3-minute game and he's playing like bullet, though. You can be more patient here. Again, take that away from him. Probably he'll try a4. It's not so easy. White's still alive. He's not necessarily lost. Yeah, knight b5, good suggestion. Better than what happened in the game. I hate knight f3. You know, this is a fast game. So white got the blockade at d2. He's probably still lost. Then that's material. Is the rook f4? Yeah, the two bishops are unbelievable. Of course. What about rook f4? Black's still probably winning, but I don't think you win material right away. I mean, you can play bishop takes h3, but I'm not sure that's the best move. I think that black is winning by nature of the passed pawn and the two bishops. Alright, anyway, rook b1, bishop takes b4, and white just lost everything. Okay, not a bad game. White clearly had like no clue how to play the white side of the Scotch Gambit. The next game is Princess Chess against Seabreeze. Delver Flips, welcome. Yeah, I mean, that variation, I just like, it's horrible. I hate it for both sides. It was really popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, because of Roman. I can't watch it anymore. Yeah, you could guess the opening. I don't. But as I told him, like, knight d7 is a better try. Knight e4 is okay, but if white is really competent, I had, like, for example, my teammate Petran Pal, who's a very, very strong IM, who was nearly a GM, but he's older now. Pal had a game like 2 years ago in our team championship where this guy played the white side of the Scotch Gambit against him. It was like a quality IM, black against some 2300, you know, or even lower. Maybe the guy was like 2275. And Pal was just like, all he could do was like barely draw with black, you know. That's what happens normally. I mean, Ripun there was lucky. He has a candidate master who doesn't know what he's doing. But the average candidate master is like going to force a draw minimum with that variation. There's like no way black can win if they really know what they're doing. That's why I recommend knight d7 instead of knight e4. Welcome, Great Lazarus. Guys, please support the stream if you can. We got a follow from what? Host 00312 Honoron. Thank you guys and girls. All right, Chess Falcon sent me a game. Let me add the Chess Falcon. Wait. One of the only openings I hate as much as the London system is that Scotch Gambit. It's just, It was just too popular for too long. And it felt like everyone played that. Well, no, I mean, not saying this particular Canada Master wasn't trying to force a draw, but I mean, everyone who plays that line, you know, the theory is like 30 moves deep. Gingy had it memorized, like, he had it memorized like 35 moves deep in variations where you could, like, force a draw against the computer and stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous how far you can take that variation, theoretically. Like, he literally had, like, computers, like, repeating moves on move like 36 or something. You know, it was absurd. But it's really, I'm sure, like, very drawish in a lot of lines. Sladgie's analysis stream of 9th September. I didn't really mean, like, particular Canada Master was trying to force a draw, but, you know, the average Canada Master is happy when they get a draw against a player who is almost a GM. Let's say. So, like 100 rating points higher player. That's a good result in a team championship. Alright, what do we got? Game is in. Princess Chess 6-4 is second game. Hey, you just showed up in time. Let's try to get the I lost my mind. Let's try to get the games done on time today. Mr. Coffee, I didn't really greet you. I greeted you in the chat before the stream started. Mr. Coffee, good to see you. So this is Princess Chess. Sorry, wrong game. I gotta sync my... Why is my study not synced? What the heck? Okay. Can you guys see the board? This is Princess Chess playing white. Just 1 second. Yeah, that Gingy video drove me crazy. Yeah, like sitting next to Roman and watch him playing like dozens of those Scotch Gambit games drove me crazy. Alright, this is Princess Chess playing white against what looks like a fairly strong player, 2170. So e4, e5, knight f3, d6, the Philidor. d4, critical move, destroying the center. And I was talking about this yesterday. Takes. You know, I talked about this yesterday, how Mamedyarov would play this for a win, right, with black. It works against 2500 players. 2480s, 2500. There you see Carlsen Magnus also. He defeated in 2012. But that was a slightly different Carlsen Magnus in 2012. Anyway, I have to say, like, I think it's weird if you think about it philosophically, right? It's weird to play d6, strengthen your center, and then turn around and, hey, I'm going to trade it off with pawn takes pawn. I mean, you can say what you want about Mamedyarov, won against Magnus Carlsen, blah, 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 blah. It's like the King's Indian. When you play the black side of the King's Indian, every time that I play e5 takes d4, I'm like sort of like saying a prayer to the chess gods that please don't let me get my, like, you know, face smashed in today. Because when you give up your strong point on e5, you're giving up space. And you know, there's a chance, obviously, white can push through with e5. You're giving up a lot when you trade off your strong point. And I've done it as black in the King's Indian, and I'm always like realizing, you know, I'm taking a risk here by trading off my strong point. But honestly, the other variations of Philidor are very, very passive. Knight d7, the Hannum variation. This leads to very clogged position where black has no space. not everybody's cup of tea. So, all right, takes at your own risk. You could theoretically play something interesting like a gambit type continuation. That's why they used to play counter gambit. James West. Where's move 11? I grew up early on in my career in New Jersey, and we had this national master who was obsessed with this Philidor counter gambit. It's like very bad for black theoretically. But I think, so is the elephant gambit. I was talking about that with someone today. If you don't know it, it's very confusing, So yeah, I guess if white doesn't know it, it's extremely dangerous. If white knows it, then it's like almost like losing by force. I mean, obviously similar to playing the Latvian. As far as I know, it's like very seriously bad for black. But why play the Philidor if you want to play an aggressive game? In the first place, I don't understand. There's plenty of other openings you could play. That's kind of the weird thing about it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, like +2. Your best coach recommended this Philidor counter gambit because it suits my style. I didn't, though. I chose the Latvian instead because Were you the guy who played knight f6 Latvian against me? I mean, they're both like extreme gambit defenses that I would not play beyond a certain level. Let's say 2200 or above or something like that. But they will, they will teach you how to play well in, dynamic in positions where you're playing for the initiative. They have their place. All right, anyway. This is e takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, bishop e7, and now the moment of truth. A lot of people who don't know what they're doing against the exchange Philidor, they think like you're supposed to put your bishop on c4. Because that's what you do in the Hannon variation, and then they're thinking, oh, attack f7, but actually the bishop on c4 is very prone to getting attacked by either d5, like knight c6, knight a5, or like b5. There's lots of ways. Knight takes e4, pawn forks. Yeah, so I recommended to Princess Chess to play bishop e2. The normal plan is like castles, f4, bishop f3, and you use the bishop from f3 kind of like in a Sicilian to reinforce the center. This is like a solid way to play. But there are other interesting moves. This is a very interesting move. I used to think like, oh, this is sort of ridiculous. But I'm not so sure. I think bishop f4 is kind of a subtle move that deserves a look. The other move that's interesting is g3, with a similar idea, bishop g2. But black has this crazy d5 now. The g3 d5 variation is just really weird. So what would have to be... That's how Magnus lost, actually. Bishop f4 g5? That's a variation? Come now. Come now, children. Let's be serious. Yeah, I mean, like, if you play... I don't even need to calculate. If you play g5, you've, like, wrecked your position, and I could go here or something, and white is clearly better. Yeah, Mamedyarov likes to play g5. But anyway, alright, bishop e2, castles, knight c6. And that's... knight c6 is a move, probably. But I'm not sure that's the best move. Yeah, it would be rook e8, f4, rook e8, f4, bishop f8, bishop f3, c5. This is Mamedyarov against Icelandic guy. I think I did this game in a video a long time ago. c5 now. And I mean, what an anti-positional move the c5 is. Like, leaving yourself with a backward pawn. But this has all been analyzed with like, computers and stuff. Well, I mean, c6 is... It is, you know, like a King's Indian or something. And you're just, like, slightly worse. So this has all been analyzed deeply. Mamedov, that's like one of his seconds. So this game from 2017, Stein Grimson, who is, wow, 25-75, really. Stein Grimson Mamedyarov was like a typical practical win for Mamedyarov, where he outplayed this guy, you know, playing risky chess for the win. That's like Black's best line, probably. So instead, Princess Chess opponent played knight c6, but after knight c6 now, it's like almost feels like a different opening. Almost feels like a... What would it be? I don't know. Okay, knight c6 is a major move, apparently. Here. Rook e8. And now f3. But f3 is not the normal plan. The plan was f4, bishop f3. Come to think of it, if we do f4 right away, Dr. Zsolt Karacsony, Hungarian correspondence player. I mean, there is some question about like bishop g4. Can't do that, right, because of knight c6. This is interesting. f4 right away. That was the plan anyway. I mean, to play for bishop f3. So we might as well just do it. I'm not sure about this. I think Princess Chess was just improvising. So that looks like the way to go. I like this better. Here. 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 Yeah, someone mentioned c6, but I mean, it looks to me like white's just slightly better here. Despite the fact that white didn't win a single game out of 5 games, there's no way that white is worse in this position. Yes, black might have tricks, tactics, and what have you, but I mean, white's got to be slightly better here. I'll eat my hat if white isn't better in this position. A4, for example. Is d5 a problem? Maybe. Maybe bishop f3? What's up with that? Computer's calling it equal. d5. But it's now... Another person who plays this opening is my ex-teammate, Varga Zoltan. I was always like sitting next to him, watching him playing these exchange Philidors, sort of gritting my teeth, like, how can you play that? You know? Bishop f3 looks okay. I like f4, you know. The problem is, it's like, after f3, what the heck is your plan? You're playing the English attack? So your plan is like f3 and what? Like g4? Are you gonna... You know what I mean? Like, you don't really have a forward plan. You're playing it like a Sicilian Marazzi. You're playing like a Marazzi. f3 is okay if you have a pawn on c4. You know? Okay, then it's totally standard. You've got a King's Indian, actually. Or something like a weird old Indian. If you have c4 in, okay, I like f3. But you have no c4, and it's after f3, what the heck is your plan? We don't have a plan. Like, black is starting to play d5, but we're like, oh, okay, maybe we'll play g4, g5. I'm afraid black's going to hit us with d5 too fast, and that's what happened. Yeah, he's hitting you first. This is very logical. That's what Steinitz would do. You know, it's funny that like there's 2 games here, neither player played d5, but it's a very logical move. He opens this up. I like d5. You don't do plans. Yeah, I don't like this. It's like the Najdorf with white. It's like a bishop e2 Najdorf with white where you have no pawn breaks and no plan. Like, Your king, you should be like queen d2, castle queenside or something. Then you can play for g4, g5. No, f4 was definitely the way to go. Not f3. So see, there's a couple games here where master level players played exactly like you. But no one played d5. That looks like a cool move. Yeah, I don't know what to do. What if we take and play e5? I mean, are we winning a piece here? Did I miss something? There has to be some kind of nasty tactic. So take, e5. I'm going to turn off the engine without looking at it. We're not winning a piece in this position, even though the knight is trapped, like after like knight h5, g4. There's no substitute for calculation. So why are we not winning a piece here? Because this bishop is attacked. He can play like there. Oh, his knight isn't trapped. He has knight d7. What am I talking about? Never play f6 in this position. It's like knight takes d5. Classical dragon trap. So worst case scenario, you could play knight d7, but you know, he could play that. That's actually, this is like devastating. Very good for black. So you'd have to play like f4. But I'm not sure what his best move is. What do you guys think? Knight d7? I'm not really sure. e5, c5? It doesn't work, does it? I don't think e5, c5 works. It is an idea that would work if you like your bishop was on f5, f8. But I mean, this is the problem. Like we're weak on the e file. So you can play bishop f8 or you can play knight d7. Let's say bishop f8, f4. You know, now your idea works. Like seriously. No, jokes aside, like that might actually be alright. But at the end of the day, maybe this pawn is going to fall. Bishop f3. Yeah, I'm trying to decide between c6 and bishop e7. I guess c6. Bishop f2. This is starting to look kind of ugly for black structurally. I'm not loving this. This could start to look sketchy. What about bishop b7? Yeah, I'm not sure. So I think Princess Chess needed to spend some time on this. You know, this variation is very critical. It's forcing, and white's better. Shit. This is a pretty good line. It looks like white is better. Yeah, and this is probably his best move. It's tough to call. Knight f8 or bishop f8. So Princess Chess doesn't exchange on c6. Plays this. But this is really, really weak. You know, white has literally nothing after this. Steinitzian. Now do you take? But it's nothing. Now the knight is like the knight from hell. So you have to exchange that off too. And white has nothing. But a draw is very likely. It would be okay maybe against Mamedyarov. Bishop f2. I like white chances to get a draw here. The Nimzovician pawn break with c4 is actually in the offing. If you have one more move, you have a serious advantage now. Oh, she found something interesting. Bishop e5. Whoa. Maybe black should have played queen takes? Is that a thing? But again, white is maybe slightly better. But this is a nice move. Alright, I must have missed something. Oh my gosh. What? You can't take that pawn? So he's actually seen further. But I mean, black is temporarily down a pawn, so they're groveling for equality here. Yummy pawn. What about c5? Is our bishop trapped? You know, never any bishops ever got trapped on a7. In the King's Indian. Man, bishop takes queen c7 or queen c8. And white is lost. So at the very least, you can play bishop d4, bishop c5 here. Worst case scenario, white is equal, even though you're weakened a little bit with f3. I like the fact that your rooks can approach the center very quickly. I don't think that white can be worse. This is a greedy move, and if you lose a piece, I'm not surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a way out of this somehow. Attacking the hanging rook with queen c3. Maybe we can play that. Queen c3. But I'm not sure that's enough. You've been a subscriber for months now. I've not analyzed a single game. Oof. Wow, you actually have to submit the games to me to have them analyzed. I don't know what the angry comments coming from. I'm not like choosing games at random. You have to actually send me the game. I don't know why LA Chess is with the angry comment there. I accept the challenges in the order I get them. And I also analyze the games in the order I get them. Then you didn't challenge me, you know, soon enough, or you didn't submit the game to me. I don't understand where that's coming from. I'm totally against you. It's a conspiracy. A lot of people, especially in the United States, are big on conspiracy theories. Everybody loves a good conspiracy theory. Just come to the stream and that's the first thing you say. That's weird. Alright. Rook b1. I don't know, would I like randomly like just take people's games and out of thin air analyze them on my stream? Is that bishop safe? Every week people submit the games to me before the stream and we analyze them. Queen takes b5. Sometimes people submit the games like a week in advance. Rook b8, queen c4. Here takes. I don't know. I'm a little distracted now. So Princess Chess decided to play for control of b6. That bishop has maybe a way to safely stay on b6. It was a safe move. Yeah, I'm just gonna like ban the guy. Slaggy has banned. Yeah, dude, seriously, what is wrong with you? Have another drink. So, very strange behavior for one of our apparent subscribers. Rook takes b1, rook takes b1, queen c7, bishop b6. This bishop is obviously very awkward, but we have a4, a5. I mean, so maybe... Thanks, Mr. Coffee. I don't get it, man. I mean, maybe we're just having a episode. Queen e5 blocked you. You're talking in the chat. Well, you were. Astrobate what? And it seems I unfollowed your streams as well. What is that? Astrobate. a4, bishop d6, queen h4. Okay, I don't like this move. Queen h4. But what choice do we have? f4, queen e3 check, we get mated. Doesn't look good. We got the back rank problem. Man, out of nowhere, black has serious threats here. Bishop d6. There's the check and then check down here. White has queen f1 though. On the back rank threat. Was a streamer, great. It's just, I don't understand why someone just starts accusing me of random crap. Queen h4. I don't like the queen here. But objectively, she does have control of e1. Black could play g5. This is not a problem. Maybe it is. Because of bishop h2. Yeah, I mean, this position, I want to stop in this position for a moment. Maybe f4 is not ridiculous, like was suggested by Prem. This is not a problem, okay? Like, we're slightly better with an outside pawn. Our only problem is the back rank. So, like, check here, you got to meet queen e1 with queen f1. This is a serious problem, but still. I think we've got the outside pawn there. Yeah, bishop f2, I know, in the game. But I'm saying maybe f4, queen e3 check, king h1, and, what does black do now? Black has some funky moves, like maybe like rook e4. There's a lot going on here. That's pretty scary. Black's central control is excellent, these centralized pieces. There's no back rank mate for white, and black has constant back rank threats. It's a pretty scary position. I mean, now he's threatening like take, rook h4. But as Prem points out, there's even counter threats. What? Bishop takes c5. Queen e1 check. And you got bishop g1. Oh my god. Wow. Bishop takes c5 with the back rank. For white now. With the back rank. That's crazy. What a move. What a move. Does that work, Master? That doesn't work. You have this, don't you? It's looking good. It's not looking. Looking good or not looking? No, this doesn't work. Maybe you were talking about a different position. No, I mean bishop c5, rook b8, bishop f8. I'm just like losing. That's the point. I'm going to look at the oracle here. Yeah, rook e4 is best move. After rook e4, black has the advantage. That's pretty scary, but maybe f4, is it right? Just want to see. Wow, it's like very close between these moves. I just feel like the white queen is drawn off sides on h4 big time. But it may be the best move. And black does have g5. No, I mean, Mamedyarov, if he was playing Princess Chess, you don't need to like talk him into playing g5. I mean, that's par for the course. Black does not, though. He plays this, more like sane move. Princess Chess has king h1 here. Still black could play g5. There's no back rank mate, though. It's not necessary to play queen f2. This obviously drops a pawn. And black like misses it, right? But it's only temporary. King f1. Queen goes somewhere. And then you take the pawn on c5. I don't trust white's king here. Safe assumption. Yeah, that's pretty ugly. Like this is the nightmare scenario, pretty much. It's worse than dropping a pawn. Nightmare scenario. Yeah, I mean, so you have to play king h1. You are up a pawn. And the computer calls it equal. So this is a huge blunder. Bishop takes a2 check, king f1, queen c3. And I guess you're toast. Maybe there's a miraculous move here. Queen takes c5. Miraculous. So where's the move for black? Queen f4. Queen e6. Another angle. That's why I need the assistance of our engine friend. Yeah, white's king is in trouble. So she made a huge blunder. Black missed it. Played queen h6, and it looks like white is surviving after this. Major golden opportunity missed, and after rook b8, a5, white's out of the oven. It looks like he messed it up, and now he's just like clear pawn down. Not just any pawn, too. Bishop e7, a5. You're super safe. Good chances to win. Wouldn't you like to trade queens? Black sacks the exchange now. Wow, trying for a fortress draw. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, this is tough. There was a guy I played in my simul last week who I think could win this position with white. The 1300. But I banned him from the stream. He's a little too Karpovian for a 1300. I mean, this looks like a very hard position to win. Maybe objectively white is winning, but it's super, super hard. It's fairly opened up. The bishop's very compact, guarding c5. This looks hard to win, man. Ladies and gentlemen. But black played, let's see, queen b6, c4, I guess. I don't think that would be my first choice. Why c4? If I were white, just like king g2 or something, I don't see any reason you have to play c4. It's not going anywhere. It's, you know, you can protect it on c2. I'm not sure black wants to play c4. That will weaken their pawn. I think white should just play king g2 and chill. To me, like, c4 looks like it might be opening up your 7th rank a bit. You know, I'm not sure that's advantageous. Probably you should not do that and start with king g2, rook e2. I don't think there's any risk for you. This probably makes your life a little trickier. Yeah. I don't like c4. I don't like the 7th rank being open. That's only going to give black more like checks and stuff. Plus we have to be responsible for that pawn on c4. Objectively, what's the engine say? Totally winning position. Wow. It's totally winning. But c4 is not the best move. That's crushing. I can't believe it's that decisive. +5. Wow. Oh no. I don't blame you for doing it. But I have a bad feeling about this. I don't think the computer's gonna like this. This looks like some famous endgames that were draws. Some configuration you can win. You know, a lot of people take the engine evaluations for granted, though. Like, oh, it's +5, it's an easy win. There's a lot of +5 positions that are very, very hard to win. I understand why Princess Chess did this. Objectively, it might be a draw. You know what, though? I don't know. Is it better for white to have like a B pawn, an A pawn, or a C pawn? Let's say white has an extra pawn. What is the most advantageous? I know like in a rook endgame, it would be probably the B pawn. Does the same thing apply here? You don't really want to have a rook pawn. There's a lot of limitations to that. I guess the same would apply. You really want the pawn to be as far away as possible, but not a rook pawn, you know? The rook pawn is definitely more drawish. This is not an option. F4 is not an option. I don't like it. It's like air conditioning. You're threatening queen e5, but man, there's a lot of air around here after f4. I don't know, man. This move looks very airy. Check. I understand you have queen f2. He has queen a2 check. And then what? King h3? She said to just play through it quickly. There's a check here. Now you're not winning, probably. Yeah, I don't like the way both sides played this. Now you probably are winning. But I would think, like, when you got to... And she did win, eventually. But I would think when you got to some point around here... You know, I don't know that this is a win for white. I'm very skeptical. I have serious doubts about that. Yeah, it's a draw. There's too much air, you know, all this air. Lots of checks. But I guess black has to be really accurate. It looks like there's only one move that draws. You lost on time? It says white is victorious. King c8. Black to move. What are you talking about? You lost on time. He gave you more time or something? It says you have 6 minutes. I just go by what I read in the book. You're thinking of a different game. Yeah, this looks like a win on the board. And on time. But I think he, you know, I think I don't like your f4. I mean, if we're going to be serious about analyzing games here, you know, it's a long game, blah, blah, blah. I don't like f4. f4 was in the top 3 and it dropped out. You can't afford to play f4. It just creates too many weakenings. It's still number 2. I don't like it, though. I don't want to play that unless I have to. It's now the 3rd best move. It's the 2nd best move. It's up there. It's top. Are you serious? But anyways, the engine says this is a draw. That's impressive. I don't know, coming off the top of my head, if this is a draw or a win, you know. But a +1 evaluation is a draw. I still will reluctantly play that move. +1 is not enough to win. It has to be a draw, but not an easy one. You know, I was thinking, by the way, the Norway chess tournament is going on, and they have this like ridiculous time control. The time control for Norway chess is 2 hours for the whole game, and then 10-second increment after the 40th move. Does anybody realize how stupid that is? Like, let's just, you know, screw the end game. Screw end games. End games are for idiots, you know. Let's just bastardize chess, play bullet chess, and forget end games. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, why are we doing that to chess? Why does Magnus Carlsen want to play Norway chess with 10-second increment for the end game? It's absurd. Like, so we can just play really well for the first part of the game and then just like blunder back and forth till someone wins in the end game, you know. It seems absurd. Like, that's not chess, you know. I mean, whatever. It could just, they might as well just have it be like 2 hours for the game, you know. But 10-second in the end game is nothing. All right, let's go on to the next game. Congratulations, Princess Chess, for a nice upset victory. Well, what should have been an interesting end game played too quickly by both sides. I think he has confident endgame technique. Dude, everybody's making blunders with that pace, including Magnus Carlsen. Look how he lost to Duda in the World Cup. Princess Chess, thanks for gifting. September gifted a tier 1 sub to Morgan Me 1. Nobody can play endgames well with 10 seconds per move. Nobody. It's just destroying the endgame stage of chess. We might as well just have, instead of like playing it out with 10-second increments, let's just have someone adjourn the games. Like, Magnus, you're winning here, you're better. Magnus gets a point. Let's just like skip the endgame part. And just not even bother to play the games. Alright, Astrobate is up next. E4. Tezek, welcome. Astrobate just gifted a sub to Tezek. Tezek, haven't seen you that much on the streams lately. Hopefully you could submit a game soon. Flick X said, I'm having my first tournament the last days of October. What kind of tournament? Job became busy. McDonald attack. I mean, 45-10 for over the board. That's like back in the day we used to play 4 rounds a day. It was a tornado. You know, that was the classic. Really brutal. 4 rounds of 45-0 in one day. That I enjoyed those, but 4 rounds of games could cause like panic attacks and stuff. Yeah. 45-10. It's good for club tournaments. F4 G6, knight F3, knight C6, C3. So, thanks guys for the gift subs for Masturbate and Princess Chess. My faithful friends of the stream. This is an unusual move. It's like a Grand Prix C3 Sicilian hybrid. You have 7 games in 2 days. That's like an old school sort of. Reminds me of. Sometimes they used to have weekend tournaments with 5 games, 3 days, but long time controls. Yeah, that's reasonable. But I don't know, you know, does that count toward? Well, it depends on where you are. It's like US rated or nationally rated somewhere. I don't think that would work. You know, you can't have a FIDE game. International Chess Federation won't count those, but in national rated tournaments, 45 minutes is normal. So C3 is weird. $45.10. Yeah, it would count as rapid. So anything under 60. There are 2 ways to play here that I like, but I think the main one is D5. My concern is D3. This kind of endgame, you know, I don't think this is all that clear. White can play D3. I think White has to play D3. I guess this is possible. Sveshnikov played it. In USCF, what? It would count as both classical and quick? Interesting. Yeah. Well, thankfully, FIDE hasn't, like, totally destroyed classical chess yet by accepting time controls faster than, like, 90 minutes. It's just a matter of time, though. But as I was saying for the Norway tournament, besides the scoring system being stupid, I'd like to watch those games. At least they're, like, kind of long games. But, man, I don't understand the 10-second increment, and it's just sort of absurd. At least if you're going to have like 120 minutes for the game with no added time after move 40, at least make the increments 30 seconds. 10 seconds is just like blitz moves. That's sort of silly. Anyway, alright, C3, I think D5 is best. Gotta strike the center instead of E5. That looks like a very, very bad move. Masturbate, what are you thinking? Let me flip the board. We can see it from his perspective. I mean, if you could play E5, it was supported by like D6, I guess it would be a reasonable move. But it's not. It's not supported, dude. You have the trap, knight takes E5, knight takes E5, queen H4 check. G3. So can we take a look at this? F takes E5, knight E5, knight E5, queen H4 check. G3, queen takes E4 check. Queen E2, queen takes H1. White to play. Anybody want to comment on this variation? Let's just say I don't trust Black's position. Knight takes g6 check. The obvious move. I don't know what to recommend here. Knight e7, knight h8. Black's down a piece. Objectively lost. Bishop g7. I figured this was best. Coming in here. Or maybe here. So let's say like bishop h8. It's too many pawn moves with the c5 and g6. I mean, this kind of thing might work in some Nimzovich, but it's not going to work here. You're busted, dude. You're just busted. e5 is horrifying. No one in their right mind would play e5. I'm saying like here, if we're looking at, you know, e4, knight c6, I don't know, f4, e5, knight c3, bishop c5. No, this type of situation, like, what was I thinking? This type of situation. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's bad, man. I mean, e5 is a really bad move. The guy didn't take. It's unbelievable. Like, you're just lost after this. There's no good move. I mean, he's going to kill you with d4. It's d4, game over. And your only hope is this crazy combination that doesn't work because of this. Queen e2 takes. But f5 takes the pressure off the center. You know, this isn't good. It's like playing c4 as black in the London system or something. It doesn't make sense. You don't want to like take pressure off the center. His winning move is destroying your center, not pushing past it. This guy is a little too Grand Prix tack. He likes playing f5 a little too much. So takes. I'm not even sure if that's your best move objectively. You know, maybe it is. Bang. Look at that. The center from hell. Fleet center. Alright, now this is kind of interesting. Maybe white is still alright. Objectively. Bishop e5. He can still put some influence on black center. c4. Bishop e5. Yeah, reverse, same issue. There's something... This is an interesting position. It's not that clear. Here he's kind of jamming himself in. You know, I mean, the queen is blocking in the bishop. That seems like a bad idea too. But objectively, he can take on e5 and then play d4 and win the piece back. So, I'm not sure the best way to defend this. Maybe you should play queen e7 yourself. I mean, breaking the pin. There's something to be said for breaking this pin. Yeah, I mean, I like this better. Like a Nimzo. Exactly. I mean, it's still sharp. I'm not sure white can take this. Because of the danger of queen h4 check. But still, at least he develops. This feels fishy. e4. And now white should play d3, counterattacking your center. But he plays this, which is horrifying. Undeveloping with white. Bishop takes f5. Black is better. Now at least, I don't know what to do. Yeah, white's losing ground here quickly. I mean, you've got everything. The whole center. g3. And now Asterbate, you did what? He did this in another game I saw recently. He went on a really bizarre adventure with his queen for no reason. You've got to develop here fundamentally. I mean, this looks like a very strong move, but white has like queen b5 check. So I guess you should just get your pieces out, you know? Bishop g7, knight e7. You've got a lot of options. I mean, knight f6 is probably okay. Maybe you should plan on castling queenside. You know, you more quickly mobilize queenside castling here. Possibly queen d7, stopping knight h3, bishop h3, castle quickly on the long side. If he moves his bishop, it's like game over. Knight e5, knight d3, resigns. No, so say this, it's over. He's like strategically lost after knight e5. I would say white's lost. The only problem is if you go here right away, white has this like annoying check. I mean, even this is probably better for black, but it's a little complicated. But this move, that's really a bizarre move. Putting the queen in a kind of vulnerable position. I know right now he can't attack it with the bishop, but next move he will. Like knight a3, defending his bishop and threatening like d3. I think it's pretty crazy. White also has like knight f3. But I guess he has nowhere good to go. Well, he does have knight h4. I mean, he can go out here to at least a stable outpost on the side of the board. I don't like queen g5. Yes, it's creative. And then white, like, okay. We can't, just try not to watch the next move, okay? You don't want to see what happened next. Clearly knight a3, protecting the bishop, threats of knight b5, threats of d3. I think after knight a3, it's not that clear. Computer says that white is completely lost. We disagree sometimes, but +5 is not always game over, even at the GM level. Okay, man. Good game. Nice knowing you. Asterbate put his queen on g5, and white just instantly like gave him the free bishop on c1 with check. Nice job. Here, and we're gonna trade queens. Takes. I've told him before, you know, probably should trade queens. All right, here. He just took everything. Brutal. And now he doesn't take this rook. I don't know, that seems kind of inconsistent. You were real materialistic till now, and now you're suddenly not taking his rook. Yeah, he's like Karpov's parapsychologist. You play queen g5, which is kind of dubious, and your opponent like instantly blunders his bishop with check. That's pretty odd. Anyway, white is beyond salvation. Now he takes. He had to give up a piece to make that capture. Now he trades queens. Now you got that. It's too much material. I like how careful you are, though, with your pawn chain there. See, it says I. As he plays a6 now, I like how careful he's being with his pawn chain. And then he plays a6, like dismantling his own pawn chain. Not consistent. Alright, guys, this was a weak opponent. We have to make like a rule that Astrobate is not allowed to submit games unless his opponent is at least 2050. This guy was a 2007. It's unbelievable. He was legitimately 2007, and he's actually played on our stream. He had a bad game. This was a game from our Tuesday tournament. I don't know what White was doing. He just blundered Queen C1. Yeah, everybody has hallucination. But I would just resign, you know. I mean, honestly, White's a decent player. He hallucinated after Queen G5. He hallucinated his bishop was protected and lost it. There we resign. Yeah, I mean, I'm giving up here. I don't care if Astrobate is like 900, you know. I mean, this is hopeless. Alright. Yubatis is he here? Yubatis, are you out there? Yubatis, are you out there? This is game number 4. Hey, what's up? Someone else showed up. Oh, Cheskudo. Cheskudo has that direct relief Charity 2018 badge. It's always very distinctive. It's like it looks like a snowflake. All right, game 4. This is Yobatis, our organizer of Thursday night streams. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream. Tomorrow we're going to be back with Friday Open Blitz challenges for everyone, even those people who are paranoid and think that I don't accept people's challenges. Anybody who's been watching my stream for like 5 years know that I do the games that are submitted and I take the challenges in the order I get them. Fridays is open challenges, though. I am not favoring the subscribers on Fridays. Astrobate with another gift to Cheskudo. Cheskudo watched my stream a long time ago. I remember playing Cheskudo years ago. I can't believe how long I've been doing this. But it is what it is. And I enjoy it. Alright. I got a message. Yubatis is on stream. But it's literally impossible for me to log in. Alright. He sent me, he is communicating from the afterlife. This is Yubatis with White. B3. Astrobate with another gift sub. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Alright, guys. B3, D5. Yubatis. Bishop B2, C5. I think this asks a lot. Whenever you face a reverse opening, you've got to ask yourself with black, you know, can I afford to do that? There's an interesting book. I think Yermolinsky did a book on chess. Uncle Yermo. He did a chess strategy book. I forget the title of it. I don't own it. But Yermolinsky raised an interesting... he raised an interesting kind of issue when he talked about reverse openings. Like, oftentimes, when you play reverse openings, like this is kind of like reverse English attack, reverse ON defense, whatever. When you're playing like reverse openings, it doesn't seem like the extra tempo matters that much, you know? But when you're black here, and your opponent is essentially, say, playing the English attack, playing the or English defense reversed, or playing the Owen, you know, can black afford to pretend he's white? You know, that's the question. When black plays c5, does that extra tempo, you know, mean enough that black shouldn't necessarily play like he's white? You know, black should be a little more conservative with the approach, maybe. That's the question. And Yermos said in his book, and again, I don't remember the title, maybe someone knows that, but he said that he felt like the extra tempo was relatively meaningless, and I've felt that as well. It doesn't seem like a lot of times this extra move matters a whole lot. At the end of the day, it's equal either way with the extra move or not. Like we're playing the Queen's Indian here. We're essentially playing the Queen's Indian with a tempo up. I had an old book on the Queen's Indian. There was a chapter in the back 30 years ago. It was like the Queen's Indian attack. But it's not that dangerous, I played A6 here. The road to chess improvement. Probably. Yeah, I mean, Yermo didn't write a lot of books, so I think that's it. Yeah, I don't have a copy, but I did notice that point was made in someone, maybe in a chess article, the discussion of it. Yermo's a thoughtful player. I like him. He's a serious thinker, thoughtful about the game. But the question is, can Black afford to do A6 like he's playing the Petrosian system? Because the Petrosian system is already pretty arrogant, right? You're playing the white side of the Queen's Indian, and you're like, A3. I can do A3. Whatever. Can Black do A6? That's the question. I know that a lot of people like to play this, and on Bishop E5, they play Bishop D7. Even Anand, you can see here. This is Schieberspieler reversed Nimzo. Bijak, yeah, we got your game. It's always tricky with you. But I guess that's like the simplest and safest option for Black. I always found it rather uninspiring. So I prefer to play A6 if I played this position. The other option is obviously like Knight F6. This is probably the most natural. Because this is not a problem. I don't think that's really great. Good evening, everyone. I have to drink. That I've never heard, Bijak. Like someone like leaving the stream because they have to drink. But I've never had that expression. Like, I'm leaving now, I have to drink. I'll see you tomorrow. Anyways, alright, Knight C6, Knight F3. So, Yabatis doesn't go for Bishop E5. I would say, like, the vast majority of players will play Bishop E5 here. It's already drinking time. I drink on the stream. Bijak. I have a bottle of, as you've seen, I have like huge bottles of Palinka in my fridge. Come up to Budapest. I'll give you a bottle of Palinka to take back to Serbia. Bishop E5 is most critical. F4 is interesting though. Because then Black again has to decide, hey, should I play A6? Because it's a reverse English defense now. Anything to stop Bishop E5 there. So F4 is interesting. Bishop E5 is interesting. Knight F3 as played by Yabatis is fine, probably. I'm mildly concerned about F6. But I guess that's a little early. I would say F6. No, I mean, it's a reverse hyper-accelerated Queen's Indian now. They play F3 against hyper-accelerated Queen's Indian. So F6 is a move. F6 has the best score for Black here based on 12 games. I'm not surprised, I mean, this is a really conscientious move. Hey, Fabiano Caruana. Why is he giving Black to play A6? Move 11, what's up? I'm not surprised if F6 is a good move. It's a reverse hyper-accelerated Queen's Indian. Hyper-accelerated Queen's Indian is interesting because it's kind of new, but it's not that great, I'm sure. How great is it with an extra move? Probably not that great. It's probably equal, But you got to know what you're doing here. I mean, d4, cd4. Looks like people are playing ed4. I don't know. You know, I'm not inspired by white's position. Anyways, that did not happen. Black played knight f6, and now bishop e5 for sure. I like the Nimzo, but Yabatis doesn't do that. This is definitely white's best move. There's no question. It's bishop d7, unfortunately, very dry. It's very dry after bishop d7. So, yeah, you can play d4 right away with a Mr. Coffee system. You know, Mr. Coffee, that's an interesting idea, actually. You're this player who's been playing d4 Kali systems. You know, you should think about this, honestly, incorporating b3 into your repertoire. Because you could easily, like, migrate back and forth between... you know, you could kind of do it as a way of playing with the move order, going into these, like, Kali-Koltnowski systems. It would give you, like, another way to open the game, maybe mix it up a little bit. Changing move orders and stuff. So anyway, d4, bishop g4, it's like a Tartakover Queen's Gambit reverse now. So takes is interesting. I like opening this diagonal. This is like my game with Josh Whiteskin that was in the... I think we're close to my game with Whiteskin. That was in the freaking Chess Master, where I beat him and he like annotated it for the program from like 20 years ago. I never watched that. I'm not interested in Josh Whiteskin arrogantly annotating his loss against me. But I was told it's on there. He had an anecdote about an old lady crossing the street during the analysis. Now you're tempting me. That's pretty funny. I guess I was the old lady. I wasn't that old back then. No, he couldn't have... I was, you know, a couple years older than Josh, but he wouldn't call me old. That's funny, move 11. But anyway, we're pretty close to my game with Josh. Bishop g4, I think I played like bishop e2 here. And I got nothing. A big fat nothing with white. I was lucky I was like equal out of the opening. It was the first round, and the story behind that, which probably Josh didn't mention, was it was the first round of a round robin tournament where nobody knew who they were playing in the first round to like arrive and draw lots. And that's the reason why I played this stupid Kali-Koltnowski system. I had no preparation, and I was just like not even knowing who I was going to play. So I just like, all right, I'll play something that I never play, you know, to just throw them off. And I did that. I normally didn't play this with white. h3, bishop f3 is very solid. Bishop f3 and then cd. So I think h3 is probably wrong. Although it's not terrible. I would break the pin if I were white here. This is more aggressive though. I saw a game from Hey It's Miro earlier today where he played bishop takes f3 in a position where it wasn't necessary. This is definitely more aggressive if you're black and you're playing for a win. Knight on bd2, e6, standard Queen's Gambit reversed. Like it's standard to have Queen's Gambit reversed, but whatever. It is. And so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, rook c8, bishop d6, c takes d. These are all moves. Now white can play d takes c5, like freeing the bishop on b2. So it won't be a long-term bad piece. Instead, white played knight e5. Interesting. Take, take. Black could play bishop takes e5, I guess. But, I mean, he is giving up a valuable piece there. So I think the way that the both sides have played now is correct. Castles. And... I mean, I would guess the position is approximately equal. But... I don't think White has any advantage. I think White is probably equal if he's careful here. You can't really play the white side of the reverse Queen's Gambit / Queen's Indian and expect an edge. You just have to get lucky, like I did against Whiteskin. And have your opponent like make some bad moves in the middle game. But I don't know that I like f4. Well, first of all, I don't see why we have to play that yet. I would normally at least castle first. But it looks risky. I don't think he's planning on castling queenside. I hope not. So, what would I do? Probably castle. Pawn takes pawn. Pawn takes pawn. And we've transposed to very strange Perlstein versus Barbara Peter from 2008. Perlstein, who really doesn't play much d4. I guess he tried to play d4. No, I'd say the position is approximately equal. Here, looks a little weird. We have a lot of pawns on dark squares. And then knight e4, but knight e4 is weird too. I don't like knight e4. You've got to ask yourself, what would Botvinnik do with black? That's the question. This looks soft, man. This diagonal. So, you know, what happens if you play something like here to attack this diagonal with black? I mean, I think ultimately White's going to have to play the grotesque c3 at some point. Solid, but only a position that Jeroen, our former moderator, could love. It's a really weird stone wall for White. It's probably not that bad. I don't like f4, but I like this even less for black. Let's see what the engine says. Whoa. Knight b4. We missed it. Mr. Coffee wouldn't have missed it, though. I think it's safe to assume that f4 was bad. Mr. Coffee, many a player has played a3 to stop this, right? Yeah, okay. f4 is bad. This is very drawish, like knight takes c6. But as I said, it's okay to castle. f4 is bad. Black's move is bad. Knight e4, d4. This pawn is weak. I don't like it. And then he castled queenside. Now it's a different story. 99 out of 100 times I would never castle queenside in the Kali system. But this concrete position, bam, where this bishop's opening on this diagonal, this rook's opening on this file, that actually looks decent. Maybe black should gamble with this bishop takes e5. Because look, no matter what happens now, this bishop gets shut down. Maybe white's still better, I don't know. Like pawn takes, queen a5, a3 or king b1. White has control of the open file, but his bishop is a pawn. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, computer gives white a very slight edge after bishop takes e5. There's also the possibility of taking here, but again, this is, I think, Yabatis' idea. He can open up everything. Like, take, and take. In some way. You know, we ensure this is open, we ensure this is open, and we have a better pawn structure. And e4 is weak, c4 is weak. It's a disaster. Black played queen a5 right away, which looks like a blunder. Because there's also knight c4. There, black has queen a6, though. Alright. It's not a blunder. Queen a5. Well, obviously the first thing I have to look at is this. This looks very dangerous for black. I mean, I'm not liking the look of this. And the look of this. And the look of this. This looks very, very problematic. Like, take... Okay, what do you do now? I mean, black's lucky if he's surviving here. It looks very scary. See, Yabatis played this king b1. That was actually, you know, a slow move. I don't like king b1. cd4, and that does nothing. cd4 is just terrible. So again, he has a chance to do that. Like, bishop takes e5, killed the game. Yeah, I think bishop takes e5 kills the game. Maybe white's still better after either recapture, but this bishop is really buried. This is a really bad move. Now white's just better. Take with the bishop. But why take with the bishop? That seems like a concrete mistake. I think Yabatis said it's just a blitz game. You know, don't take it too seriously. So, rook takes d4 on this, doubling, it's better. Bishop takes interferes. And now a very tough decision. He did keep his bishop's diagonal open. If g6, it looks scary, but how does white win? Queen h4 with the threat of queen f6. It's pretty difficult to see how black's going to hold after that. Because like queen f5, g4 obviously. And you have no way to stop white from coming in with queen f6. Yikes. So he played f6, and white could just like snack that pawn on e6, but he didn't. This is a blunder. c5, bishop a1, c4, h5, h6, and he's like, oh, I can take that pawn. You could have taken it before. Check, king h7, and again, like this one's hanging with check. He saves that, savors that for later. Probably white is even better, but let's say, alright. Rook d4. I feel like we should be finishing black off here. I think bishop takes f6 is pretty damn crushing. But maybe there's a saving grace, like rook c8. Here, yeah, maybe this doesn't work. It's close. It looks like it works, though. Bishop takes f6. Schieberspieler, welcome. I'm afraid of this, but we're winning. After queen there. I think bishop f6 breaks his back completely. Speaking of kissing, no, bishop f8. Black stays alive a little longer. Not too long, though. I don't think he's going to be surviving too long here, objectively. Schieberspieler, welcome. Thanks for joining us. FIDE Master Schieberspieler. This is just a blitz game from Yabatis. It wasn't a serious effort. He obviously has like rook d7 here, which is very strong. This is strong as well. He does have, black does have bishop f8. He missed that. Bishop f8 looks safer. There must be some sort of epic ending here. Rook takes g7. No. This looks more elegant. Except for the fact that it might not work. It probably works, but no. Because black's controlling d8. Astrobate, thank you for the gift to Steven Spielberg. Rook takes e3, bishop takes f6. Strongest. Threatening mate. This is best. There's no checks. It's queen h6 mate or queen h7 mate. Game. Now he missed mate in one, sadly. Bishop takes g7 is inaccurate. Alright, Yabatis, thanks for submitting a game. Sumaher is up next, number 5. Did I miss someone? We got Goju and Chess Falcon. Astrobate, thank you for the gift subs today. Schieberspieler, are you streaming? Anytime soon? Let me know. FIDE Master Schieberspieler, champion of the Tuesday tournament. Deservingly our Tuesday tournament champion. Cassiopeia against Sumaher. Or Sumaher Cassiopeia. You don't know. That's an answer. How's school going? d4, e6, c4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, d takes c4. Actually, I just had a game with move 11 yesterday in the knight f3, d takes c4. That's kind of an annoying variation. The Vienna variation. But this is a little bit better for white, I think. This is not the same thing. I mean, after bishop g5, that bishop move, that's more aggressive. I mean, knight f3 is more safe. This I don't trust this for black. I don't even know what this is, honestly. Wow, it has a name. It's called the modern variation. Who knew that? Queen's Gambit Decline modern variation. There's only... It's so modern, there's only like 66 games. It's likely to transpose to something else, though. Interesting. It looks good. Yeah, it looks interesting. Like, I know nothing about this. No one ever plays this. We play knight f3 and we get transposed. To like this. If we play e4, what is this? This must be the most critical. I think maybe Yevgeny played this against me. In some game. Where is Yevgeny? He never came back from Ukraine. His Ukrainian holiday. It's kind of scary. Still better than Venezuela. Alright. Better than Afghanistan. Bishop g5. D takes c4. e3. This is like safe move. Now black's main threat is a6 and b5. Yeah, e3 is fine. You know, it's hard to say what to make of this. It's unbelievable. Like, totally logical moves from both sides, and there's only one game in the entire Opening Explorer where this position has been reached. Like, both sides have literally not made a mistake, as far as I can tell. Technically, a6 is better. He's alive. Good. Yeah, I agree with Sumaher. Not exchanging here, necessarily. Probably this position, if e4, h6, you have to take. But in this case, I don't think you have to. e3, h6, you can go back. a6. Now you need to take the pawn. You could play a4, but I don't... I mean, this is definitely something. That's a Dingley Wren game. Wow, a4. You just checked this line. D takes c4 as first choice of stockfish. Wow. Yeah, I think it's worth looking into. Again, like, transpositions are very likely. It's sort of surprising, though, how little it's ever been played. But my gut instinct is that e4 is the critical test. I mean, what happens on, like, bishop e7? You get the Kosich trick, which he tried to do to me, like, bishop takes c4, knight takes e4. Duh. Knight takes e4, bishop takes e7, knight takes c3, bishop takes e7, here, here, here. This type of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to fall into that if white's not paying attention. Yeah, man, I mean, this is weird. This deserves, like, serious investigation. It's a good, like, secret system. Nobody would know what they're doing. Very strange. Alright, e3. Yeah, I mean, I think most people would play e3, and they'd be smart to do so. It's not as sharp as e4. h6, bishop h4, a6, bishop takes c4. Now, knight on bd7, which is kind of a weird move. I think that black would go b5. White could play queen f3. You have to calculate this. Like, this might not be stupid. If we can force black to make some kind of weird move, you know, maybe queen f3 is not entirely stupid. The queen is obviously very awkwardly placed, though. I'm not sure. Rook a7. You can try this in your next game. Schieberspieler's next tournament game. Queen f3, rook a7. Exclamation. Critical variation. We call it the Schieberspieler defense. Instead, black played knight bd7. And I'm waiting for us to transpose to something now. It looks like it does. c5. Again, very rare. a4. This is a new move. Yeah, I don't like allowing black to play b5 smoothly here. I don't know who this player is, man. Orest Grishak. 24.99 against Quinus. I have literally never heard of Orest Grishak. Is it possible that Quinus played, like, correspondence chess? Or is that guy a real player? Quinus is a Lithuanian, like, opening expert. He has his own system in Sicilian. I wonder if it's a correspondence game or something. a4 makes a lot of sense, though. So now we're, like, transposing into some kind of normal position. Castles allows b5. I don't like the look of this. You know, this looks pretty active for black. Bishop d3. But it seems like black has a good game here. This just looks like black has a good game to me. Like, white has nothing. I think you should have played a4. You know, the question is, like, when? You could play it, like, right away. We transposed to a Ding the Ren game, see? Ding the Ren is like, no, you're not going to play b5. Understandable. I kind of agree, you know. I'd really rather not. Black doesn't play b5. He doesn't play b5. He doesn't play b5. This move is horrifying. Queen c7 is really bad. This is not the Queen's Gambit accepted. That bishop is outside the pawn chain, heading for, like, g3. I don't know about Queen c7. That's really dodgy. b5 and black has a good game. Here, Now queen e2, b6, a very conservative move. Rook c1, and then that. I think that black also kind of a conspiracy theorist here. He definitely believes in COVID-19 though. This guy's afraid of everything. I mean, seriously, I know that the rook is there, but I mean, white is not going to open up the c-file that easily here. Black should still play bishop e7. I mean, if takes, you can just like take back with the pawn. It's okay. I don't think losing a tempo with queen b8 really makes sense. Takes. He does take with the pawn, in fact, anyway. Now, Sumaher, you've got all your pieces developed. I think after bishop g3, you're slightly better. But you played a weird move now, queen d3. This feels like a cheapo. Does anybody else agree? Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream by gifting some subs today. We're going to be back tomorrow morning at... But it looks like we're going to be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. CEST. It looks like he's trying to do some kind of cheapo here. But that, that doesn't seem necessary to be so primitive. I don't think it will work either. I mean, queen d3. Black could even, well, king e7 is kind of risky. Black's probably going to play bishop c7. If bishop e6, pawn e6, queen g6 check, I'm not buying this. Do you have something there? Wow, he played bishop e5. That is a bizarre move. So my candidate moves were bishop c7, bishop e7, king e7. That's where I left off, basically. It looks like knight e5 might even be a move. Anybody? Comments? Questions? Pretty messy. I would say this, and if you take this, you get forked. I have literally no idea what's happening here. What do you guys think? I mean, but bishop e5 seems strange. So Sumaher is trying to set up some kind of bishop takes e6, it looks like. He's very divisive tactically. But I just don't see this working. Check, king f8, and I was looking at crazy stuff, like trying to do this or something. Doesn't do anything. I don't think we have anything here. So you like knight e5? Knight e5 is more natural. But maybe white has a forced continuation. Knight e5 is not great. I just realized. Alright, we're getting mated in one. Knight e5, bishop e5, queen d8 mate. That doesn't work. So also, the same thing applies here. Knight e5. He can't get mated. The guy just gave up his dark square bishop for no reason. Either of them is bad. Alright, so he has to play either bishop c7 or bishop e7, apparently. Or maybe some bizarre move like knight b6. Let's see. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Black has to move the bishop to c7 or e7. I didn't see the mate either. Here, yeah, here, and now, yeah, the dark squares are just gone. So bishop g3 is crushing. You don't need material. It's over. Just like sticking your bishop on d6, preventing black from castling, is probably game over. But I imagine white has something cute. Unfortunately, we don't have this tactic because he's covering g6. There's no apparent way for white to like just destroy black immediately. I would pretty quickly play bishop d6. But Sumaher played queen d6, effectively the same thing. This also might be quite strong. But where's our next move? Knight a4, knight a4, knight b6. Yeah. This happened eventually. Nice. If takes, king f8, bishop takes b8, and it's just over. Check. And my gosh. That doesn't look healthy. So rook b6, trying to hang on. I did see the mate in one. I had a mate in one? What? What mate in one? You know I don't do mate in one. Bishop takes e6. What mate in one? You have mate in one. Mate in one. Alright. Sarcasm. It's too easy, man. I would see that after 10 jello shots. I'm trying to explain, deeper combinations. The main and ones are easy. Anyway, this was a beautiful game. Very, very nice. Very nice. And white wins. Alright. Next game is Goiju. Goiju versus Thug Doug. Dig Dug. Dig Dug? Anybody remember that video game? Old school. Never got into that. It was popular in the arcade though, in the 80s. Late 70s, early 80s. Was that an Atari game? Goiju? It wasn't Atari, was it? Mr. Coffee, do you like video games? Mr. Coffee's a little bit younger than me. Astrobate's older. What about you, Astro? You hung out at the arcade with the bad kids, didn't you? E4, E5, F4, E takes F4. Bishop C4. I wonder if my opponent, the LA chess guy, Scarlat, which is your opponent? Yeah, I don't know. He's been nice in previous streams, but he just like started going crazy with the angry comments today. Just kind of out of the blue. Anyway, it's King's Gambit for Goiju with Bishop C4. This is critical. We saw Knight F6, I think. I analyzed this like very briefly in a previous stream, one of the previous streams. Oh, you're Goiju, right? You think your opponent might be that guy? Interesting. What gives you that idea? D5, E takes D5. Was this from the tournament? No. Yeah, it looks better to play bishop takes. We talked about this the other day. Chess Falcon, what? Can someone text me on lichess when you get my game, please? We got your game. You're the last game on the list. Oh, on the lichess profile, he has YouTube and it is LHS. Oh shit, this is from the lobby. This is like a complete coincidence. By the way. Like a total coincidence. If it's the case. But I think this is the way to go. Adiban, Wesley So. Remember Adiban was like playing in like 4 years ago he broke through by playing in Weikanze. Wasn't Adiban like playing the King's Gambit in Weikanze or something? In his first major like premier over the board exclusive tournament? Was it like he beat someone good with the King's Gambit? Maybe I'm going back in time even further. I don't remember. But there was something like that. Anyway, pawn takes is definitely a variation. Okay. I mean, I find that most people will play queen h4 check if they're going to play queen h4 check. I don't know about this. Yesterday, I saw on my phone that Nepomniachtchi won in the King's Gambit. Queen h4 check. I guess the King's Gambit is a good choice for an Armageddon game. You might as well. Queen h4 check, King f1. And now apparently, like, this is theory. I have never played this line. I used to play, like, for fun, bishop c4 sometimes, but, you know, for the most part, people, like, play check right away or they don't do it. This is interesting. On bishop takes, is this a move too? What's really the difference? I don't know. Knight f6 looks like a very natural move. There is a drawback, of course, the queen is obstructed a bit, but it'll probably go to like h5. And now queen h6. Interesting, by the way, that I remember here, f4 takes, bishop c4, d5, no, queen h4 check, here. What's now black's normal move? There was some variation where black plays queen h6, and it was relatively early on. Maybe knight f6, knight f3. Let's turn on the engine. Yeah. So check this out. I think it was this position. Alexei Shira versus Granda, 1993. You know, historically speaking, the queen like was typically played to h5 in these type of variations, right? So that's from Weikanze Schieberspieler. That's the first time I heard of Adiban, you know, when he got invited to Weikanze. And everyone was, you know, surprised that his repertoire includes the King's Gambit in such an elite tournament. So I'm thinking this is modern. This is an engine, like an engine move, queen h6. It looks insane. You're like putting your queen on the diagonal. Only Asterbait would do that. Put your queen on the diagonal of the bishop on c1. Classically, players didn't do that. There is a game from 2006, but this 2019 game, you know, this is the #1 engine move here. I mean, it does, like, protect the pawn momentarily. Welcome, Mickey. Thanks, guys, for tuning in the stream. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. It appears that the idea of playing queen h6 is like a computer-influenced concept that's relatively modern in the last few years. Like, I don't think that in the 1800s people were playing queen h6 in that position. This is new. It looks illogical to put the queen on h6. I know, obviously, especially when there's a knight on f6. In the game here, after d5, it's a little different. Check, here, here, and now knight f3, queen h6. Yeah, this is obstructed. Is that the same position? This is different, right? The same basic principle. I mean, what's the big disadvantage of having your queen on h5 versus queen h6? Here it's actually better. Wow. I mean, how the heck would you know, like, in which position it's good on h6 or which position it's better on h5? You know, who knows that? Asterbait. Yeah, it's King's Gambit. Commander Root just got a gift sub from Asterbait. In the other position, it was clearly queen h6. Now, the entrance says queen h5. Interesting, this position has never happened in the opening Explorer. That's crazy. So bishop d6 is better. Alright. Yeah, I mean, you might want to play bishop d6 and then, like, knight e7. I think that's part of it. With bishop d6, knight e7 is more flexible. You have g6. The knight can go to f5 or g6. It doesn't obstruct the f-pawn. He plays queen h6, d4, bishop d6. And now you played queen e2 check, which looks risky for white. What's the idea with queen e2 check? Deep, right? We're taking away black's right to castle. But you also have to be careful. You know, black has a rook here. I wouldn't automatically play queen e2 check, necessarily. And you also have to consider queen e1. Now, I don't like this endgame, like check, king d8, queen h4. I don't like my knight, you know, on the side of the board there, particularly. It's nice to, like, force a trade of queens in a King's Gambit where we're, you know, our king isn't safe or something like that, but objectively, I'm not sure. So finally, after queen e2 check, king d8, unsurprisingly, you know, he's keeping rook e8 in reserve. That's why I was hesitant to do this. You're not going to castle queenside. If you could castle queenside, queen e2 would be a great move. But objectively, I'm not sure. Are you putting your queen in harm's way here? Should we even play queen e2 or let him castle kingside? I don't know. Maybe you're right. You have to mess him up, you know. Check, king d8. And now knight e5, hitting f7. What about rook f8? This pawn is, see? Asterbait is like drooling over that bishop on c1, which he won earlier today. And black is threatening f3. f3 would rip white open in this position, so you have to play like knight c3. And white is better. White is not better. Wow. Wow. I thought white was better. The computer says that black is better. That's crazy. His king is just safer. I really thought white was better. That's probably my biggest misevaluation in a long time. I mean, material's equal. It looks like white has better control of the center. 7 pawns each, equal material. And the engine says that black is +2. Wow. That's pretty crazy. I mean, both kings are open. I thought, like, worst case scenario it would be equal. But he took here. That can't be right, master. I mean, does he really have enough development? Do you have queen e5? Threatening f4? That looks weird. But possible. Even this has to be considered. Because you're on f4 twice. I mean, how does he protect f4? He has g5. Nothing risky about that, right? But it holds. Maybe g5 is seriously a problem. Damn. Because rook e8 is coming next. Alright, pawn takes. And then rook e8. Anybody like this? The old rook e8 move? We have... Don't ask me. I don't know. Queen f3, knight h5. I have literally no idea what's going on with black's threatening that. So we played knight h5 right away. Threatening that. Steinitz sees that all day long. There's this swinging over there. I mean, is that a major feature of queen h6, by the way? Is that the point of queen h6? That at some point you got this magic check on b6? Yeah, no, of course you saw. Knight g3 is pretty obvious. But I don't know about that. But what else can you do? You've got to defend it. He doesn't play the queen check. Rook e8. And then knight c3. No, bishop e2. So how do you decide what move to make here? Wow, because this pawn is hanging now. It looks like you're in trouble. Bishop d2, check. You just go back. So what if he plays queen h6 again? Threatening knight g3 again. Do you agree to a draw by repetition? Like here, check. Queen f2, the idea being like here, here. What is going on around here? I mean, this guards e5, but I still don't know what's happening. This is an incredibly complicated game. You just got destroyed. By grandma? Alright. Bishop d2, queen b6 check, king f1. The chess grandma. Jesse Cry. Queen h6, king g1, queen b6 check, king f1, queen h6. Wow, and you played for a win. But actually, your rapid is up to 2164. You're almost as high rated as him. You've gone up. Rook g1. You're threatening g3. Yeah, I mean, the center is nice, but can you support it? So he has knight e5 now. Knight e5, bishop e5. f6, bishop c7 check. Wow. I mean, this king is just parked in the middle of the board. Ultimately, that looks very dangerous for black. I was thinking you were heading for a more central location here, but I guess you saw d4. That is kind of a central location. And you have nowhere to necessarily go. I mean, here with the idea of this, looks pretty strong, actually. He has, like, no way to defend c5. Maybe knight d7. Can go back. But, I mean, this position is very, very dangerous for black. You have possible e6, and if this opens up, I don't know, man. Computer just doesn't know what's going on. Knight e4 looks interesting. You played knight f3. I don't really like g4, to be honest with you. Queen g6. And now rook d1. Fully developed. Threatening the d6, king c8. Wow. And then if g4, you have knight h4. So queen g6 was kind of a weird move by black. Honestly. Like, what's he doing with that? Knight d4. The King's Gambit is simply a positional opening. This is an enjoyable game, but I'm sure like the center pawn loss for both sides is probably all over the place. It's impossible to play the King's Gambit well. I lose like every time I try to play it. Rook d8, and now look at the explosive control of the center. White has domination of the d6 square. Knight f3, knight d4, and knight c6 check. Well, this is pretty big. Black lost control of the center. I mean, that's the thing that really looks decisive here. Both sides are playing like rook odds almost, but his king was more exposed than yours ultimately. Nice move, queen f2, hitting the dark squares. Take, and it's all about the dark squares. And that's just like a horrible blunder. But anyway, you would just take, right? Bishop d5, rook d5, pawn d5, queen check, king here, queen check, king here. And then I don't want to know what happens after like knight d4 check. This has got to be a mate. But anyway, he wins at least the queen after queen e7. Black would have to play that. That's pretty bad, man. So, yeah. Well, you drove him to f5 in the game. Drove him to g4. Oh no, are you serious? Check here. Are you serious? But he has to play that. He does have king takes. So it looks like you have another option, maybe. But I still think... Yeah, you should have just played knight d4 check, like another variation. You win his queen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a mate here. But I wouldn't mess around. This looks like an easy win. So let's say queen e6. Actually, you even have this. You know, taking that first, then you take his queen. Ugh. Or queen f5. That's probably the easier way to do it, rather than hunting his king for mate. You know, if he gets away here, you didn't get his queen and you're screwed. Now his king is temporarily safe. See, like he's like escaping. He can't take because of mate and 1. He doesn't have a check. You're threatening this check. But isn't he safe on like h5? So, I mean, I have no idea what's going on here. You let him out. The last 10 minutes, the last 10 moves were bullet. You let him out. And he's like escaping to h5. And you have a protected pass pawn on a 6, but I'm still not sure. So whatever he does here, I don't know. It looks like he has chances. Like queen f5 or something. It's even possible you're lost. Well, I guess you have rook d3 there. Yeah, this is scary as hell, though. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he got away. Now I thought you were winning. Sorry. I thought you were winning. Check here. But he just, like, goes back. Damn. You don't have any perpetual or anything. But wait a second. You have rook g3 now? He should have brought his queen back, right? But I guess who knows what's happening here in this ending. Maybe he's losing. King here. Rook g3. Check. You're going to drop a rook, but he can't take it. You go here. Check. King here. You walk away, and you're threatening mate on g5. You're also threatening all kinds of mates, like rook. Even there are weird mates here. So I think you're winning. Yeah. Queen f7 is good enough. He did go back. Oh, okay. So you lost like because of time. But objectively, the endgame's winning for you. Alright. Yeah, that was an insanely interesting game. I could analyze that for like 3 hours. Really fun. Okay, this is last game for today. We've got Chess Falcon playing Thad. Thad TM. Thaddeus. Alright, Chess Falcon, thanks for being a subscriber to the stream. Everybody, we're going to be back tomorrow with Blitz. E4 D6. Thanks, Astrobay, for the gift subs. He's up to 5 gift subs this week. Guys, please support the stream if possible. Alright, we've got Chess Falcon playing white against 2100. Modern defense. Yeah, I mean, so at this point, I think f3, will be considered by a lot of players as a little bit early. Sometimes people play like f3 against the peers, and then they'll transpose to like the white side of a King's Indian or something with c4. If you're willing to play c4, you can transfer to a queen pawn game in some lines. But okay, knight d7, he's playing like a modern. I mean, clearly like knight c3 is a standard setup. I don't really love this. Bishop on d3. No, it seems like this is the normal way to play. Knight c3, queen d2. So I'm not sure what to make of this. I guess maybe black has like c5 or something. I don't know what black's best way of playing is. I mean, maybe he should play e5. I mean, personally, I don't know if knight d7 is even a good move. It looks like apparently this is the #1 move. I don't know what's white gonna do after that. You have to play something weird like c3. Yeah, so I think, you ought to hold off on this f3 objectively, but we'll see. Alright, so c5 is his best chance. Probably forcing you to make this weird move. I'm not crazy about this setup, but I guess it's playable. But he does play c5. I mean, that's the problem here. So you can't take, you can't push. You don't have a lot of options. Objectively, you should play c3. I guess queen b6 is a problem. Because this and this are both hit, and you can't defend both. Or can you? Yeah, you can. You can play this. Takes. So you have to play queen b3. This isn't that bad, actually. You have to play knight c3. Sorry, I mean c3, and if queen b6, you play queen b3, and you're able to maintain your center. Pawn takes pawn, queen takes, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. His knight is on a bad square. Your knight's coming to c3, and white's better, like clearly better, winning almost. All right. So the problem is now you're playing some kind of like weird Sicilian. After c takes d4, you're no longer playing the modern. Black's playing like the Dragendorf. After c takes d. It's a Sicilian. How is this Sicilian? Bishop on d3 is not great. I'm a little worried about queen b6, though. What are you going to do there? Cheaper Spieler likes the Dragendorf. Knight f5 doesn't work. He has queen b2. Being cut a queen. This is good for black. Alexander Ivanov would kill for that position. He would like murder people. Knight takes d4, queen b6. This pawn is a problem. So you gotta play for tricks now, I guess. Let's see. How do we deal with this? Yeah, you might have to play something artificial. I don't know. Knight c3 drops a piece, so that's a problem. Let's see what the oracle says. Wow, your move actually, the engine claims is better for white. Really? That's hard to believe. I'm not sure if the computer will stick to its evaluation here if we let it run deeply enough. I would play this position for black, and I know grandmasters who would. I would think I would prefer black to white here. Computer is claiming an advantage or equal. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's playable. Yeah, it's a pawn sack if you want to. But he doesn't do that. He does this. That move doesn't make sense, you know. This is Asterbait style. Move the same piece twice. I think it's better to develop. You know, he should develop with knight f6. Okay, it's not that bad. Knight e5, but your move is bad too. No, f4. You've got to develop here. I mean, I think you've got to play knight c3 and get yourself developed. Black's move is maybe not that bad, but f4 looks really rickety. I mean, he's got this. This is like a normal looking sort of dragon position. Even knight c6 is okay. You might have to play something weird like that. You have to be careful though, and black has like bishop takes b4. I guess it doesn't work. I guess you can play that, but let's check out knight g4. Check. This nothing. Check, king f8. This is Tony Miles, man. Maybe bishop g1. I'm not going to drop a piece. Maybe king f8 is not that bad, actually. Miles did it in the dragon. This is interesting. White's got his king in the middle of the board. Not that clear. So f4 is really like risky for you. But he does this. Yeah, I mean this move is sort of unambitious. I disapprove of your play now. Well, I mean, I'm just calling it like I see it. I think f4 is very risky, and I don't trust it. It's a move. It's a move I wouldn't play. You're behind in development here, and black has the bishop pair. C takes d4. No, I'm saying it's bad. Alright, c takes d4, queen a5 check. Yeah, I have a hard time understanding queen a5 check. How does queen a5 check benefit black? He's like, oh, put my queen on h5, but what does that do? Like, while you develop, you know, your pieces, he's just like randomly putting his queen on a5. That's a really bad move. I mean, I think after knight f6, black has an advantage. It's a good dragon for black with the bishop pair. He's at least equal here. You know, maybe better. Computer calls it at 0.3. But queen a5 is a really bad move. I've said it on my stream before. Queen a5 is always bad. Feingold says f6 is bad, but queen a5 is bad much more often than f6. Like, queen a5 is almost always bad. There is no reason to put the queen on that square. It looks active, but it only like wastes time while you develop your pieces. Like, hey, I'll make a like really useful developing move and catch up in development while you hang out with your queen on a5. And you're gonna like leave the diagonal in the next moment. So he just wasted time. Castles. Queen b4, and now knight bang, and you know you're probably like winning material now. Queen a5 was your best move with Simul. Okay, there are exceptions. Once in a while, like 1 in 10 games, it's actually appropriate. You got knight d5. He has to back off. See, he like wasted time. Queen b4, queen a5. If you play b4, he's obviously like going back to d8. Instead, this move. But what about like rook c1 or something? What if you just go directly, you know, for that? He's hanging on. Rook c1. But like, you know, is he gonna last here? Rook takes c8, bishop takes c8, and then you got another piece coming. Sorry. You got another piece coming to the file. He might survive. He might survive. Like I was talking before, like check king f8, it may not be fatal. Man, I mean, you almost have something going on here with that king on f8. It looks like you have stuff. f5 threatening maybe like knight e6 check. White is better. But I don't know if f5 is the best move. Rook c1, rook c8, b4. b4 right away. Well, I would presume he can go back. You know, he can always go back to where he belonged in the first place. I don't know. I think you're clearly better, but it's not necessarily winning. Here. This move I don't really like. Right. And you won a pawn, though. You do win a clear pawn there. I guess. That's pretty strong. Because b6 is weak, and you're threatening stuff like bishop b6. Now he's in trouble. What about bishop takes b2? You have bishop b6, right? There are some really sick variations. Like, okay, yeah, this looks pretty strong. I think he's lost here. He's lost here. Probably. So I didn't like knight b3, but you might have a point. He has to play queen d8, and now you go there, you're threatening to win the exchange, and you just pick his a7 pawn off, and b6 is weak. Yeah, I guess knight b3 is not a bad move. It's kind of ugly, you know, like decentralizing your own knight, but you've got a concrete point. Rook b1 with bishop b6 threat. Yeah. Black's lost. In that position. Now he's just like trying to survive. But your development is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces developed to 2. You know, you might call his queen developed. But his kingside is a wasteland with no knight and no rook. Now here, I don't know if this is best. Check, king f8. That's not necessarily game over. But I don't know, the threat of knight e6 is really nasty. I thought you would play this. Because this is a killer, man. Knight e6. He does have a way out, though, like that. You said you played e5. I think f5. Computer is making all kinds of other weird moves. When you play e5, though, like your white squares look a little weak. He can play queen g4. The subtle threat of mate. If he had a bit more time, I guess he could get his knight out, but it doesn't look great. Wow. No, I mean, I don't know. He's got to try this. It's not over yet. He still has this. Queen g4. There are many ways for you to defend g2. But it ain't game over yet. Yeah, queen c2, queen d2, rook f2. All these moves are possible. Maybe even like knight e4. Probably white is winning. Let's see. Yeah, all of the above. White has like a clear advantage. But this looks crazy. Because he's got that massive family fork on e6. What is he going to do about that? He plays this, but his piece is... Yeah. Yeah, he's lost. So you got the knight e6. Yeah, and there's no way now. He's in some sort of crazy sort of mating net. I guess bishop e5. That's mate as well. What's not mate in this position? Like f6 or something? Yeah. This is his only move. Like, he has to give himself f7. Check. Here. Check. Here. And now... I don't know, man. You gotta be winning. So he has g7. Now he blundered his queen. But let's see. He's totally paralyzed. It's hard to find a move. You're threatening rook f6, right? That's devastating. So let's say he plays king g7. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Yeah. Now you have that. And he's out on h6 and he's getting mated. And they check here. King h5. And then, if you're really mean, you do this. This. And then this. Am I missing a faster mate? This is sort of funny. I like this though. You should mate with the smallest form of material, but yeah, it's totally over. After king g7. I mean, I don't know what other move he can do. This is really like the only reasonable move. Here. Here. Oh, you have the mate immediately. Alright. You're right. You have a mate immediately. With queen h3. Yeah, he's totally lost. But I think the last moment for black objectively was here. When he took, you played this, he has to play queen g4. This is his only chance, you know. There's still a small chance that black could survive here. If he plays like perfectly. His only hope is the white square. You know, sort of the white square is to hold up there. Anyway, good game. Thanks, Chess Falcon. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to take a break and be back tomorrow morning. Appreciate it. Everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Astrobait, for the gift subs. Thanks to all of you for being subscribers. I will be back Friday morning. We're going to play some Open Blitz challenges tomorrow. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, for hanging out with us. Good games, and I will see you Friday, 11 a.m. CEST. Bye-bye.